Well, what's going on, guys, and how are you all doing today? And welcome, of course, to another edition, another episode of Sir Derwin Speaks. As always, guys, it's indeed a pleasure to have you guys on board. Those that are viewing this video and those that are loving the channel that have already subscribed, we appreciate you guys coming on board. For all those that will begin to come on as subscribers and just begin to view some of our videos, we pray that this really will be an inspiration for you to help us as we navigate through this maze of life. Guys, listen, I got some great news for you today. We're going to be talking about something today that I think is a very, very familiar subject in a lot of people's lives. A lot of people's lives. And I can speak on this subject because it was something that I was really doing and didn't even realize that I was doing it. Well, you're probably wondering, you say, well, what is it? What is it that so many of us do and sometimes actively re-engage in this particular activity over and over again? What is it? Can you guys guess? Procrastination. Procrastination. Putting off things that we could do or should have done, and we put it off as we say to do it later. Do you have any of those types of situations going in your life right now where you've got a lot of laters that have never gotten done, a lot of things you were going to go back to, a lot of things that you were going to try to get started again? Well, listen, stay tuned. Tune in, stay tuned and watch the video through its entirety. We're not going to make it a long video because we're just going to build on 5 bullet points, 5 call to actions. We're going to implement and help you implement 5 strategies that will help you, because it truly helped me to re-engage myself in some activities and some things that really needed my attention. And I know some of you guys may be thinking, it's hard to really get back started. It is, because we're overwhelmed. A lot of us are already overwhelmed with a lot of things and a lot of stuff that's going on. And, we struggle. We struggle to reignite that fire. You remember the motivation you had? Come on, you remember when you first got started? Excuse me, you were so excited. Bubble guts almost, just ready to put things ablaze, ready to put some action. But then you start running into some situations and some what seemingly are setbacks and some discouraging information, or you get some statistics that and it becomes discouraging. And sometimes what do? We sit it back down on the table. And then some of us that try to get spiritual or say, well, it's not God's time. No, it is your time. It's our time to put some call to action to some things to put away that trait of procrastination. I call them the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I would have, I could have, and I should have. But there's so much inside of you. There's so much potential. And we don't always realize it because we don't always get that recognition from somebody close to us or somebody telling us. We got to get away from those situations and realize we got to be able to call forth what's inside of us and get that fire back started on those things that we have sat on the table or put in the closet. We got to kill that trait. But these strategies, if you stay tuned with us and get you a pen and some paper out, and write down these strategies, they're really going to help you put some call to action and get that procrastination trait out of your lives. We are our biggest enemy. We are the ones that's holding back our blessings. We're the ones sometimes that always looking for an excuse, but the excuse lies within ourselves. We have to break that trait. Let's jump right into a strategy number 1. When you're dealing with a situation or something that's maybe a large project or something that needs a lot of your attention, the first strategy that I would use would to break it down and to use micro actions. That's what I would do. I would use micro actions. Break it down, to the part where you can accomplish these goals in a short amount of time, but they're all assisting in your accomplishment of what you're trying to do. Break it down. Break it down. It looks like a mountain at first. But if you begin to dissect that project or dissect whatever it is that you're attempting to do and break it up into smaller segments. And it's so rewarding, guys, to be honest, just the feeling of completing something. You notice how some people get stuck on games, video games, and they win and go to another level. It's so exciting. The euphoria, the dopamines are released, and there's such pleasure. Just being able to break that project up into smaller pieces. Say you want to write a book. You've been putting it off. And I'm talking to somebody right now that should have written a book. What happened? What caused you to lose motivation? Sometimes we get writer's block. Sometimes we can't come up with stuff and content. I understand. But it's also an understanding that just start writing a sentence. See, you're breaking it down. You're breaking it down into micro chunks. You can't write the book in one day, so just start writing a sentence to keep yourself motivated. That's the whole object of the project. Staying motivated so you can write for the true intent of your heart, whatever subject that you're writing on. That's the first strategy. Even if you can overcome it quickly, break it down sometimes. Analyze it. Look at how each part is working together to accomplish that goal. You want to start doing certain things like going to the gym. You can't get yourself started. Break that process down. Start doing a few things at home and develop the mindset of consistency. Consistency always pays off. I don't care in what application. Dedication, commitment. Break it down. That's strategy number one. We can go deeper into this, but we're just going to make it clear and concise, just on the outskirts of giving you an understanding of these 5 basic strategies. And they'll help and they'll work. And I can speak it because it's worked for me. Did y'all get that? Another strategy that you could use would be set a 5-minute rule. What does that mean? What do you think that means when I say set a 5-minute rule? You can't do anything or maybe complete a project. Some you may complete in 5 minutes, but for most part, the one that's more taxing requires a little more time. How could you apply? What do you think I'm referring to when I say a 5-minute rule? Now remember, the whole thought of what we're trying to do here is to kill the spirit of procrastination. We want to get rid of that trait. That's the whole basis. So think about that while you're creating this answer. The 5-minute rule. Well, I'm going to tell you what it is. The 5-minute rule strategy is that you're going to do that particular project that you've been working on for at least 5 minutes. For at least 5 minutes. It's another strategy you can apply with micro segmenting that project. You can also apply the 5-minute rule where I'm going to do something at least for 5 minutes. 5 minutes towards what you're trying to accomplish is still closer than where you've been. So let's work on those 2 strategies at first. Breaking the project down. Breaking down what it is that you're trying to do. Then apply a 5-minute rule where, you know what, I don't feel like it today, but I'm going to work at it anyway for at least 5 minutes. Because you're training your mind that no matter what you're going through or whatever you're dealing with, you still have this to do and it's included in your day. You know how sometimes we'll push certain things out of our life for that day and say, I'll do it tomorrow. But that project that you keep putting off has already waited long enough. So how does it get done except you start making an effort towards accomplishing it? Segmenting it, micro segmenting it, the 5-minute rule. So I want you to do that today. I want you to take that project that you've set aside or that financial aid that you wanted to go back to school. You put it in draft or work on it later. Come on, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it and just work on that application for 5 more minutes. Work on that resume for 5 more minutes. Make some phone calls for 5 more minutes. Get up and do some exercises, walk or do something for just 5 minutes. And do it consistently. That's the key. Do it consistently. It'll work. You will begin to rewire and retrain your mind that you need to be doing this, and 5 is going to lead to 10, 10 is going to lead to 15, and 20 is going to be led to 30, and before you know it, you've already run it up. It's so important that we retrain our minds and stop always thinking about, I'm going to do it. I should have done that after the fact. How many times have you done that? We all have done it sometimes, felt like we could do it later, and then when later comes, later is still coming. And some of those were great ideas. Some of those things were inspired and inspiration. What are you going to do? We're going to apply these strategies. We're going to make our mind set up that we're going to do these strategies and we're going to do them consistently. And it's going to bring about change. Listen, let's go on strategy number 3. Create a sense of urgency for that project. You create it. Don't wait till you get into a place where it really becomes urgent. You put it into a place of urgency in your life. It's got to be done. There's no excuses going to be accepted. Setting deadlines can be powerful in retraining your mind to get her done. As they say, get her done. Get it done. I've got to finish this. I've got to get this project done. Deadline. That's why companies and businesses put deadlines on their workers on projects, because they need it done in a timely manner so other things or actions can be created from that finished project. Set that project or that thing that you've been putting off, set it as an urgent thing. Move it ahead of schedule. And when you make that thing urgent, you're now assuming accountability that you got to get it done. You know, we lose that because we have that power to say, man, I'm not going to do it. You ever been on a job where you can't just say that? It's part of your job. You got to realize what's inside of you, and that the enemy, the devil, or the enemy of your soul, or whoever it is that you want to call it, the wicked one or whatever, he does not want to see you succeed. But you were designed to be successful. So we get overwhelmed and overloaded with a lot of stuff, and we end up procrastinating, putting it on the back burner, gonna do it tomorrow, and then afterwards say, I should have. Put a sense of urgency on it. Put some accountability on yourselves that you're just going to get it done. You're going to see a noticeable change when you start applying these strategies consistently. Breaking it, micro-segmenting it, the project or whatever it is you're trying to do, or you've been putting it off. Grab that project again. I'm talking to you. Grab that project again. Come on. And let's break it down. Sit it before you and let's break it down into pieces. And after you break it down, you got to break that trait. So now we're going to work on it for at least 5 minutes. consistently. Every time we go towards it, we're going to make sure that we do it for 5 minutes. Actively engaged for 5 minutes. Then we're going to tag it with an urgency. This project is urgent. I got to get it done. I cannot have an excuse. I've got to be accountable. You know, sometimes moving into our strategy 4, this is a good one too. Sometimes you just got to change your environment. You might have just to move from the living room and go to a bedroom that nobody uses. You may need to get up. I'm going to tell you what I used to do one time. You know, one time I was trying to work at home and I had a project that needed to get done. And I didn't want to go to a library, or I couldn't go with it at the time. But then I went to Starbucks, used their free Wi-Fi, found me a spot to myself, and began to work on my project. Now, even though there was other people in there working, there wasn't a lot of talking and stuff being done in the areas where people were researching and doing other work on their laptops. You know, we were all drinking coffee and, you know, really engaged. But sometimes you just got to change the environment. Sometimes you might have to get out of your house. You might have to find another room. You might have to move some stuff around in your house, get some clutter out of the way, get that stuff out of your visual. Sometimes you can get so overwhelmed in trying to start a project again or get back working on something you put off. You see so much stuff going on around you, man, it just overwhelms you and you just shut down. Now remember, we're trying to start the fire again under those things that you've been procrastinating with. You are getting ready to move into a whole nother level of greatness on your life. All those ideas and projects and things that you should have been doing, they had a reason for them coming into your mind. So it's our responsibility with intentional effort that we're going to do what we need to do to grab hold of these old projects and these things that we haven't let go. Because if we didn't want to do them, why didn't you just get rid of it? There's things that are just sitting around that have been gone undone. It's time to unbox. It's time to unwrap. It's time to get our hands back in the gloves and grab hold of these tools that I'm teaching you. You got to move. You got to change your environment. Sometimes you might need to go to the park. You might need to go to Barnes and Noble, some bookstore, and just get somewhere into a space or to a library, somewhere different than where you normally been working on your projects or whatever it is you need to get done. I'm telling you, it works. It's so refreshing sometimes to get away from all those blocks that you have and distractions you have in your home. Children, you know, a spouse, you know, the telephone ringing, you know, stuff needing to be done around the house has been put off. You've set that as urgency. But remember, we marked this project as urgent. We got to get it done. So we might need to move to another environment. We need to move and do what needs to be done so we can be productive. Distractions are designed just for what they're called, to distract you, to draw you away from needs your attention. That right there that you put away, that should have been done. Those things you were going to do should have been done. It's not that easy just to always give somebody an excuse. Not when you have control over it. We have 24 hours in a day. Have you ever segmented your day and look at all the things that you put priority to? Sleeping, eating, watching TV with the children, on the job. How many times have you invested or set aside to work on this project? We are also overwhelmed, sometimes having to work 2 jobs, sometimes having to beg, bum, and borrow and try to ask whoever to try to get things done. I've been there. You're talking to somebody who's been there. 60 years old and starting to begin to understand financial literacy, learning how to make money work all these years, just been working and working and working only to achieve check to check. But I'm implementing these strategies, and I encourage you to implement them as well, as we are on number 4. Change your environment. Set yourself up for success. I want to get this done. I want to understand what I'm reading. I want to understand what I'm learning. I need to block away. You know, every time you can get so engaged in stuff and then you have to get up and go to do something. When you come back, you got to try to bring your mind and recenter yourself. It just takes and drags the process on. The magnitude and the level of your abilities that you have because of what you've been through in the past. You've been through a lot. But those ideas are going to move you into a better place financially. Those things that you haven't went back to, inventions and ideas and all kinds of stuff, we just sat on the back burner. Let's jump right into number 5. I don't care what nobody's saying. Your environment affects productivity. That's why Google has a wonderful, you research it, Google has a wonderful work environment. They have very little to no turnover. You get free food with all types of cuisine from around the world. You get free daycare. If you can't get your children to the job in daycare, they'll go pick them up. They got gym, full access to all the gym stuff in there. I mean, I just touching the surface. I mean, they've got a different type of, excuse me, I'm getting an interruption, but they've got a different type of work environment. When you get tired of sitting down, you can just stand up. They got desks now you can buy, and you can just stand up and work while standing up. Check this out. They even got sleeping pods in Google. If you get sleepy, you just go get in one of the pods and take a nap. Have you ever heard of that? Take a nap and come back and start back work again. I mean, Google looks at it, why let them sleep on the job? You know, just take a break, go in the quiet room, get yourself together and come back and get productive. Changing your environment, guys, really helps. Let's get into number 5. These are just some quick call to action strategies that you can implement. And we're going to rehash them real quick once we close out. Overcoming procrastination. Reward yourself. I know, you're not a kid, but sometimes just to get yourself motivated, it's okay to reward yourself. You've micro-segmented that project. Remember? You've micro-segmented it. You remember we did all that we did. We're just rehashing the strategies so you can understand. We're micro-segmented, right? We put the 5-minute rule. We're going to work on it for 5 minutes. Each one of those segments we're going to work on for 5 minutes. Keep doing it consistently until we build up a better habit and increase our time. The time that we're dedicating, the mental space to that project, because we kept working the 5-minute rule and we broke it down in segments that are doable for us. Setting a matter of urgency to the project. I got to get her done. I got to get this thing done. Number 4, change your environment. Sometimes you got to pack your bags. You got to go. You got to move somewhere. You got to go somewhere else, get it done. You got to go and refocus, get some better things to look at, some better sound, or just a better ambiance. Man, it's important. And number 5, reward yourself. Treat yourself to something. You know, attach something to it. You got it done. Let's pat yourself on the back. Great job. Keep doing these strategies, guys. Keep working them in your day-to-day. And I guarantee you, you will see some results from your consistency. We can now go back and grab those things that we've sat on the back burner. Those things you should have done. You should have had the business open. You should have went back to school. The application should have been done. You should have worked on these things. Now it's time to get moving. It's February, heading in towards March. Let's get it done and be great. If you found any value in this video, guys, hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Share this video so that we can move this video into the people also that may need this encouragement. Hit that bell so you'll get notified every time I drop some new content. Guys, you're going to be great. We just got to grab hold of those things. It's not that they're not significant. We have prioritized things over them. Put on your gloves again and let's go grab these things and let's get back busy. Let's get back refocused, rewire our thinking. These things have value. Don't have the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Let's stand up and be accountable. Let's realize the potential that lies inside of you and me. We gotta do something. Stop putting that stuff on the back burner and get it done. I'm counting on you. Thank you so much for tuning in today to another episode of the Sir Derwin Speaks. We're dealing with procrastination. 5 strategies, call to actions, quick strategies. You can implement them right now. Come on, let's go. Let's implement these strategies. At least give it a try. It's not going to cost you anything to try. Let's put forth an effort towards our change and our transformation. Let's rid that trait of procrastination out of our lives. Some of those things you put off are designed to bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Sidney Derwin Crippen. I'm Sir Derwin. I am so grateful to having you on board. Thank you so much for being a faithful viewer. Share this video, guys, please. And subscribe if you found any value in this content. We're going to build and expound on the subjects more, but we want to give you 5 quick call to actions. Come on, be a part of our family. We really appreciate your support. Those that are already viewers, we salute you and thank you so much. We are so humble that you came and been part of our family. Until the next time, guys, we want you to stay tuned. Stay tuned for the next. I want you to even go in and check out our playlist. It has all our motivational videos so you can watch them all in one place. Some wonderful subjects, some direct target on some things that we deal with in this maze of life. Thank you so much for being a part of Sir Derwin. Until the next time, we thank you so much and we bid you Godspeed. God bless.